The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Teenager gunned down in Penal. Less than a month after he turned 18, Jeremy John was shot dead near his mother's home in Penal on Saturday night. Police said the teenager lived at Pleasantville Avenue in San Fernando with his father, Jerome John. But while on his way to visit his uncle, Martin Morris, at Sunrise Road, gunmen pulled up and opened fire. Morris, 52, told police he was watching television at about 7:40 p.m. when he heard the gunshots and took cover. After the gunfire ceased, a neighbor told him his nephew had been killed. Police said John was struck 6 times by the bullets. Speaking to Guardian Media, his mother, Nicole Morris, said he worked as a laborer with the URP in San Fernando and had no run-ins with the law. During his childhood, he learned to walk on stilts with Junior Bisnat's Kai Soka School of Arts. "It's my fault. I called him to come home. I wanted to see him. If he didn't come home in Penal, he would not have got shot," she sobbed. She explained that on March 10th, John celebrated his 18th birthday, and as a gift, she bought a house for him. "I wanted him to come and live close to me. He was my firstborn and I loved him. I don't know how I will function without him," she sobbed. She explained that after John collected his first salary, he bought a pair of shoes and gave her $40 to buy snacks for his siblings. She also said she was puzzled about who wanted him dead. "Why they didn't send him home to his mother? Why they had to go and kill him?" she cried. Grandmother Alice Joseph had this message for his killers. "God will deal with all you. Jah will deal with this," she cried. Grandfather Drayson Pierre said he also did not know why anyone would want to kill the teenager. "He had no enemies as far as I know. He lived right here. Only last year he moved to his father's house," he said. Pierre said there are too many idle youths on the streets. "Long ago, when I was younger, there were many trade schools where youths could pick up training in agriculture, mechanics, tailoring, electricals, or plumbing," he recalled. "We never would see a youth man as a vagrant on the street. That was because there were programs that young people could engage in. It was not difficult to find a skill because there were trade schools and craft courses to do," Pierre added. He called on the government to revitalize these trade schools and utilize community centers. "We should engage such trading skills to continue. This is the only way to save the youth," he said. Lisa Drayton, founder of Charlo Village Next Generation Talent Group, said if youths had access to programs to hone their talents, they would be less inclined to get involved in nefarious acts. Police said they have no motive for John's murder. 6 spent shells fired from a 9mm semi-automatic pistol were recovered from the scene of the crime. Sergeant Jones, Corporal Brigmohan, and PC Jagasar of Homicide Bureau visited the scene, and District Medical Officer Dr. Miraj ordered the body removed to the Forensic Science Center, where an autopsy will be done on Monday. Anyone with information on the murder can contact Crime Stoppers at 800-TIPS. Man detained for possession of gun and ammunition. A 45-year-old Komoto man was detained by police for possession of a firearm and ammunition. According to police reports, during an exercise in Komoto, officers observed a man seated under a tree with 2 dogs armed with a shotgun and 4 rounds of 12-gauge ammunition. The 45-year-old man of St. Marie Emmanuel Road, Komoto, was arrested for the offense. The gun and ammunition were seized and taken to the station for processing. $1 million fire in Bamboo. A foreign used spare parts company based at Bamboo No. 3 Valsaine was almost destroyed yesterday after a bushfire razed the back of the storage facility and spread to the warehouses containing derelict vehicles and assorted car parts. Residents observed the brush fire around midday as it swept along the dried grassy embankment bordering the northbound lane of the Uriah Butler Highway. Unaware of just how far the fire would creep, one man said it was no surprise that the windy conditions yesterday had fanned the flames as far and as fast as it had. By 1 p.m., the blaze had already spread to the first of 3 storage facilities. The caretaker said he alerted the owner, whose only name was given as Tex, when he realized the brush fire was approaching their property line, which was fenced with chain-link wire. Although several people visited the site yesterday as officers battled to bring the blaze under control, they refused to speak with reporters. However, fire officials estimated the damages to be in the millions. Calls to the number painted on the external wall of the business place yesterday went unanswered. The Bobolee that survived. A battered woman with pepper spray. Usually, Bobolees do not survive past Good Friday, as they are beaten to a pulp before dusk. But this year in Pleasantville, the Augustine family made a Bobolee depicting a battered woman holding a pepper spray. Her arms are crossed to ward off her attacker. 19-year-old Acacia Augustine said they wanted to highlight the unwarranted attacks women continually face in TT. She said every year they make a Bobolee of someone who has betrayed the country, but this year they decided to highlight the women who have faced abuse. We decided to use the pepper spray and this theme to represent why we need to protect women in Trinidad. Pepper spray is used as a weapon to protect women, as they don't have that right now, she said. She added, I think it is sad that this is happening. We need to stop this continuous violence. I find it sad to see what is going on with the young children. I found it really terrible, and we have to do something to stop it so people will know what is going on with the children, so that government can do something more about it, she said. Anita said this year their Bobolee will escape the usual beating. Long time we would beat our Bobolee, but not this year. This year we will dismantle it and keep it, she added. Her husband, David, said, this Bobolee has already experienced trauma, and this is why we are celebrating women this year, he added. A Bobolee is supposed to be a stuffed effigy of Jesus' disciple Judas, who betrayed him with a kiss. The Bobolee was usually tied by the neck and dragged through the streets on Good Friday. But in Trinidad, over time, it came to represent politicians and other people whom the society vented against. Bobolees are usually hung on lampposts and street signs. Most Bobolees are taken down after sunset on Good Friday. Nine arrested in Tobago, 47 ticketed for COVID regulations breaches. Police officers from the Tobago Division nabbed 9 people with outstanding warrants for larceny, robbery with aggravation, and cruelty to a child in exercises up to Saturday evening. Additionally, they ticketed 47 people for breaking COVID-19 regulations by not wearing masks. According to a police news release, the security exercise headed by Senior Superintendent Anad Ramisar issued 19 of the 47 public health fixed penalty notices on Saturday, April 3rd. The release noted most of the non-mask wearers were held outside bars on the Crown Point Strip. The release also said police are making regular patrols at beaches, bars, and other places frequented by vacationers. According to the Tobago House of Assembly THA, over 10,000 persons were expected to visit Tobago over the Easter vacation up to April 11th. A THA Health Division's April 4th release said there are 15 active COVID cases on the island, 3 of which were recorded on April 3rd. Since the pandemic began last year, Of the 3,478 samples tested for COVID in Tobago, 175 were positive and there were 2 deaths.